Pulse 95. Between local lines, notes from the Emirate.
Notes from the Emirate, indeed. We had the BR School Excellence Award, and they've been going on for a number of years, and we've finally seen more categories also being added, and we've seen amazing work and celebrating wonderful work of all of the teachers that are there, and it's amazing to see what the country is achieving, the Emirate as well, encouraging others. So let's start talking about the idea of the School Excellence Award that we've got through BR, and to talk to us about that, we've got the Director of Environmental Education, Hind Huwaidi. A very good morning to you, Hind.
Hi, good morning.
Well, great to hear from you. Let's start talking about the award itself. What's the purpose, and why are we continuing every year? You know, we could have just awarded some people that year and be relaxing. Why is it a continued process?
So basically, the Environmental Excellence School Award was established with the aim of encouraging environmental awareness among the teachers and the students within the UAE. So this year was actually the 11th edition of the competition, and it has been running for the past 11 years very successfully. We have noticed that there's an appetite for such competitions within the UAE schools. When we first started, it was actually just focused on schools in Sharjah, but then we started getting a lot of feedback from other schools around the Emirates, and that's why we decided in 2018 to expand it across the UAE. And it has been very successful. The participation increases year after year. So we do see the response from the teachers and the students, and we see how passionate they are about it. And that's why we decided to keep going with the competition year after year.
And in terms of the types of submissions, what are the categories? What submissions are you seeking? And what are the age groups represented as well?
Yeah, so basically we try to change the categories almost every year after seeing the response from the teachers and the students. For this year, we had 4 different categories, and the competition runs actually from KG up until grade 12. But this year, we decided to have it from grades 3 up until grade 12. So to give you an idea about the categories, we have the first one, which is from grades 3 to 5, under the theme for the best environmental e-storybook and song, which was specifically a category that we developed for Duracell, who's our strategic partner for the entire competition. And it was under a very specific theme for them, which is the life cycle of a battery, because they want to focus on the message of battery recycling. And that's why we decided to go for that theme with them. The other categories we have is from grades 6 to 9. We have Best Environmental Digital Magazine. The other category we have is from grades 10 to 12, which is the Best Environmental Mobile Application. Now, these categories are specifically for the students, but then we also had one category which is specifically for teachers, which is Best Environmental Podcast, which is a new addition that we decided to add to the competition, as well as the other categories that we have.
That's pretty cool. And you've done this this is the 11th time this event has happened. So over the years, can you describe how the level of awareness has changed among young people?
So as I mentioned, we've seen an increase in participation. So just to give you an idea about the numbers, last year we had a bit over 460 participation from schools in the UAE. This year we had over 700. So there is a jump that happened with the level of participation. And also mainly because this year we also decided to hold it more on an individual basis. Previously in the past, we had different categories. You have a category that's specifically for a school. So you would have your eco club, the teachers and the students are working together on the projects, but then we still had the individual categories. This year, due to the restrictions that we had and because of the distant learning, we decided to go more of an approach of having an individual participation, which dramatically increased the level of participation in the competition. And the level of awareness has been crazy and really amazing when you're seeing it within the school students, especially someone who's, can be in grade 3, which is working on a project by themselves. So it has been very impressive to see.
And what's the purpose of this cash prize award that we've got? And what do we aim to achieve following that? Because as we can see that there is a cash prize for the best environmental podcast for the teachers was 15,000 dirhams, environmental mobile application 10,000 dirhams for the students to be innovative in technology. What's the purpose of that?
We are asking them to do big projects, basically. So this is our way of giving back and rewarding them for the hard work. Because if you look at the categories and if you look at the criteria, it's very extensive work that takes the students months to actually work on it. So we launch it at the beginning of the academic school year, and it goes until around the end of the school year. We have our awards ceremony just this Monday. So it's a long period. It's months of hard work. This is our way of basically recognizing their hard work and giving them something for their efforts at the end.
Can you talk to us about some notable submissions, something that stood out to you?
I mean, a lot of amazing projects that we've had this year. Especially, what was interesting to see is the category of the mobile application, where it was very innovative. It was something new, and then we were sure that the students would do great in it, but we still didn't know because it was something new that we launched, and we were like, we know that they would be up for it, for us to be asking them to actually create a mobile application from scratch. But then the submissions that we started getting were something that was really amazing. We had a specific theme, which is the future of sustainability in the UAE. So we decided to ask them to look for innovative and creative solutions to talk about how they foresee this future. And the submissions were just great. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and it's a big part of what BIA is doing as well. It's in line with the UAE's digital transformation and embracing technology to help in environmental initiatives. Can you elaborate more on that focus for your organization and within the competition? Why is it so important?
As you know, maybe you are aware or not, that BS core strategy is actually focused on a twin pillar strategy, which is sustainability and digitalization. So when you're talking about them, they go hand in hand. When we first started focusing on sustainability, because BIA is the leading environmental management company in the Middle East, so we had a very specific aim, very specific focus, and we decided to find the best innovations and solutions for different environmental challenges. And that's why BIA was the leader when it comes to the sustainability side. But then in order for us to be fully sustainable, we decided in the past few years to also adopt a digitalization approach, because we wanted to make sure that we are running our business and our processes in the most efficient way. And all of that was done, of course, by introducing end-to-end technologies across different environmental aspects and sectors that we have.
And I'd like to touch upon how the assessment criteria works and who is in the judging panel, so that when we submit our podcast, we get a chance to win as well. So how does it all work?
So basically, the judging of the entire competition happens in two phases. First, you would have the students and the teachers submitting all of their projects online. And what would happen, we would have our judging committee that would review all of these submissions in very detail, going over the very specific criteria that we have. We have our internal team of judges from BIA staff, and then we also had a lot of external judges from the American University of Sharjah, from Nama Women Establishment. We had also from the Azraq organization, as well as Sharjah City for Humanitarian Services. So we seeked industry experts in order to support with the judging process. After that step is done, we actually hold face-to-face interview with all of the shortlisted candidates to ask them further questions about their projects, to get more insights, and to hear directly from them. And based on both scores, that's where we determine the winners.
And how do you feel about the fact that you're instilling these values in all of these young people throughout the years during this initiative? How do you feel that bodes for the future of this country and sustainability as a whole?
I think it's great to see the passion from the teachers and the students. You would sometimes get the submission and see the hard work that was put into it. But then when you're sitting there and having that interview with the teacher and the student and hearing someone who could be as young as 6-year-old talking so passionately about the project that they work on and about the environment and how they're looking and seeking to protect it and preserve it and think about the future, this is our target. This is what we're looking for, just to prepare the young generation to carry the legacy of BIA and of the environment forward to the years to come.
It's amazing. Now, I've got to touch upon this little submission that won it was second place for the best environmental podcast. Let's listen in if we can.
Nice music.
Yeah. It's called the Battery Song.
That's the Battery Song?
Source of life, heart of the toy, stop the toy. I bring you always unlimited joy. I'm the battery and it's not flattery.
So
Very inspiring.
inspiring indeed. So let's hear from Sonia Iqbal, who had produced that. A very good morning to you, Sonia, and thank you for joining us. Uh-oh.
To you, and thank you, Bia, for this interview.
Well, thank you. Well, it's great to hear from you. Sonia, now talk to us about how do you feel about getting the second place, and how did you produce this song?
I feel great. Alhamdulillah, it's a lifetime achievement for me. Actually, I'm working past 12 years as a passionate kindergarten teacher, and this is the very first time I'm getting a great chance to contribute something for the environment. And I strongly believe that I created changes in the young minds, and I feel proud that I brought some changes in the different communities and age categories.
And how's this going to help you in achieving your goals, and you know, what role do you like to play in helping the environment as well?
Yeah, it helped me a lot. I created many workshops, awareness campaigns, door-to-door awareness campaigns. I covered 65 to 70 flats.
Brilliant. Well, we're kind of struggling with the connection as well,
Yeah.
but no, it has been a very, very good discussion so far. Sonia, we wish you all the very best as well with your teaching career, and thank you once again to Hind Huwaidi for joining us this morning.
You're
Thank
most
you.
welcome, and thank you for having us. It was a pleasure.
Definitely, it was a pleasure for us as well. So you were listening to Hind Huwaidi, who's the Director of Education at BIA, and we also had Sonia Iqbal, who is a kindergarten teacher from the Indian school in Sharjah, talking to us about her second place as a best environmental podcast. And you can learn more about her through Eco Bliss Facebook page as well. Thank you once again for all of our guests for joining in. We'll leave you with some musical entertainment, and we'll be back again talking about sports here on the Morning Majlis.
If you liked this episode of the Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.